Thank you for choosing America's Mortgage Choice to secure your refinance. What we're going to do in this quick video is talk a little bit about the good faith estimate you received as part of your package and talk about the details there so that hopefully you can have your questions answered. So we're going to go through the common questions. First, what you're going to see is an interest rate. That interest rate is roughly the interest rate where rates are today and may or may not reflect the interest rate that you were discussing with your loan officer. There is a separate rate lock agreement that will serve as the confirmation of your interest rate, and this should be taken as an estimate. For what we're going to do here is we're going to take a conventional loan at $304,000. In the estimated closing costs section, we have two big areas, one here on the left and the other on the right. The area on the left covers the items associated with securing the loan or in connection with the loan. First is the appraisal fee. The lender will turn around and assign an independent appraiser to come out and determine the value of your property. They want to make sure that your property is worth what we think it is as we put the loan together, and that independent appraisal will have an independent separate fee from your closing of $300. Additionally, you're going to be looking at some things that are fairly unique to the transaction based on, number one, in 809, a tax service fee. That tax service fee can be anywhere between $75 and $100, and this is going to, in this estimate, be $80. Then the processing and underwriting fees, lenders can charge 1 or 2 fees, 5 fees. They all basically come in similar totals, so we throw them both out here at the $749 and $615. And then finally, the lender charges a fee just to make sure you're not in a floodplain. If you are, you've likely had flood insurance in the past, and you should call this to our attention. However, if you haven't, it's unlikely that you'll be found to be in a floodplain, but they must search for that on every loan, and it costs a little under $20 to run that search. Finally, what you're going to see here in line 824 should be a number called the yield spread premium. That is the fee the lender pays us for the right to collect your payments. That's not a charge to you, and it won't show in the totals. However, we do want to disclose to you that the bank will charge or pay us a fee for the right to collect your payments. Additionally, you're going to be looking at some title charges. In a worst case scenario, the title company will charge a fee to physically conduct the closing, whether they do that at their office or they come out to your home or place of business to do the closing. You'll see that fee. You'll also see a title insurance fee. And that will be for the insurance of the title, to show that there are no current liens or things that could jeopardize the financial position of the lender at the time of the closing. And then there's always some miscellaneous back and forth overnight and messenger fees to cross the T's and dot the I's on paperwork. Finally, for every new mortgage, there is a recording fee and maybe even applicable stamps in order to turn around and administrate the paperwork with the county to make sure you're covered. What we do is combine everything here in the 1100, 1200, and 1300 sections as applicable with the stuff in the 800 section to get a total of the estimated closing costs of just under $2,200. Now that is a absolute worst case scenario, and at America's Mortgage Choice we like to over deliver and make sure that we find ourselves beating this number rather than having you end up in a worst case scenario where you're surprised by a number even higher than what we may have told you otherwise. So please consider this figure to be worst case scenario. Now, this is also not the number or the final item that you'll be bringing to the closing table, although those are the only fees conducted in the loan. When you close, for example, if you close on the 15th day of a month, you'll bring 15 days of interest in on the new loan, and this number will reflect at your closing on whatever day of the month it is. So if it's the 15th, you'll bring in 15 days. If it's the 1st, you'll bring in 30 days. And if it's the 29th, you'll bring in 1 or 2 days of interest in order to balance the books in the month that you're closing your loan in. Then you're going to set up a property tax escrow account. If you do not have an escrow account, or you discuss not having an escrow account with your America's Mortgage Choice loan officer, most lenders do charge a fee for that, but if this is an error, please have us correct this immediately so that we can reflect accurate numbers. If you are having an escrow account, the appropriate number of months that we need to collect to slot your escrow account perfectly for the new loan, and the payment of your next property tax bill will be collected. In this case, a $4,800 tax bill is divided by 12 to get $400 a month, and 6 months is collected so that we are able to pay the next property tax payment. Your property tax bill has been divided by 12, or your estimate of your property tax bill, in order to create this number. That will get you a ballpark figure of $3,355 in prepaids. Now, you could expect a refund of your existing escrow account from your current lender, and you will skip a mortgage payment by mail the next month. Have this discussion, if you have not, in terms of understanding your cash flow with your America's Mortgage Choice loan officer. In this situation, if you owed $298,000 currently on your mortgage, took the $2,194 and the $3,355 that we saw for the estimated closing costs and the estimated prepaid items, you get a total of $303,550. In this case, we rolled the loan amount up to $304,000, creating a situation where this client got $449.86 back at closing. We can create a situation in most circumstances where you bring zero to closing, you get a little bit of money back, or you get the opportunity to bring in a payment or any other like amount that you want. Please discuss cash to closing in detail if you don't understand or don't want this number to be accurate reflection of what you're going to be bringing it to the closing. Please have a preliminary and urgent conversation with your America's Mortgage Choice loan officer as quickly as possible to make sure we have the numbers right for you both up front and at the closing. Thanks so much again for choosing to refinance your home with America's Mortgage Choice. I hope this has made it more clear, and if you have any other questions about what your closing plan should look like financially, contact us today at 630